Dad demanded I cover my sister's mistake, so I pulled out the documents they never expected me to have. The call came at 2:47 a.m., jarring me awake from the first decent sleep I'd had in weeks. My sister Rosemary's panicked voice crackled through the phone like broken glass. "Aveline, I messed up bad. Really bad. I need your help. My name is Aveline Torres, and I'm the responsible daughter. The one who graduated summa cum laude, while Rosemary barely scraped through high school. The one who worked 2 jobs through college while she partied. The one who's been cleaning up her messes for the past 15 years. What happened?" I sat up, already dreading the answer. "I got arrested. DUI and other stuff. Dad's going to kill me. Can you come get me and maybe don't tell him yet?" I checked my bank account on my phone. The bail bondsman would want cash, and Rosemary's legal fees would drain what little I'd saved for my wedding next month. My fiancé Jake had already postponed our honeymoon twice because of Rosemary's emergencies. "I'll be there in an hour." 3 hours later, I was $8,000 poorer and listening to Rosemary sob in my passenger seat about how this would ruin her influencer career. She had 50,000 followers who believed she was a wellness guru, not someone who'd crashed into a farmer's market while high on prescription pills she'd stolen from our grandmother. "You can't tell Dad," she begged. "He'll cut me off completely." "Rosemary, you could have killed someone. But I didn't. And the lawyer says if we handle this quietly, it'll just be community service and probation." My phone buzzed. Dad's text. "Family breakfast tomorrow. Important discussion." He knew. The silence at breakfast was suffocating. Dad sat at the head of our dining room table, Mom nervously refilling coffee cups, and Rosemary picking at her eggs like a child waiting for punishment. "So," Dad's voice cut through the quiet, "anyone want to explain why I got a call from our insurance company about a claim involving Rosemary and a farmer's market?" Rosemary's fork clattered against her plate. "Daddy, I can explain." "You can explain how you drove under the influence? How you destroyed 3 vendor stalls? How you're facing felony charges?" His voice rose with each question. "It's not that bad," Rosemary whispered. Dad pulled out a manila folder, spread papers across the table. Property damage, $45,000. Legal fees, estimated $25,000. Increased insurance premiums, $15,000 annually for the next 5 years. I stared at the numbers, my stomach dropping. "Aveline's going to help," Mom said suddenly. "She always helps." "Excuse me?" The words came out sharper than I intended. Dad's eyes fixed on me. "You make good money at the firm. Rosemary's your sister. Family takes care of family. I already posted her bail." "This is bigger than bail, Eveline. This is about Rosemary's future, our family's reputation." Rosemary finally looked up, tears streaming down her face. "I'll pay you back, I promise. Once my brand recovers." "Your brand?" I laughed, but it wasn't funny. "Rosemary, you're facing criminal charges. Your brand is finished." "Don't say that." She shot up from her chair. "You're just jealous because I built something from nothing while you're stuck in some boring law firm." "Enough." Dad slammed his hand on the table. "Aveline, we need a decision. Are you family or not?" I looked around the table at their expectant faces. Mom wringing her napkin, Rosemary with her practiced, vulnerable expression, Dad with his disappointed patriarch routine. Something cold settled in my chest. "I need to think about it." "What's there to think about?" Dad's voice hardened. "This is your sister." I stood up, my chair scraping against the floor. "I said I need to think about it." Back at my apartment, Jake found me staring at our wedding invitations scattered across the kitchen counter. "Rough breakfast?" He kissed my temple and I leaned into his warmth. "They want me to pay for Rosemary's legal defense and the property damage. All of it." Jake went very still. "How much?" 70,000. Maybe more." He was quiet for a long moment. "That's our house down payment, our wedding fund, everything we've saved." "I know. What did you tell them?" "That I'd think about it." Jake pulled away, studying my face. Aveline, you can't seriously be considering this. She's my sister. She's a grown woman who made a choice, a dangerous, stupid choice that could have killed innocent people. I wanted to argue, but the words wouldn't come. Because he was right. Rosemary was 28 years old, and this wasn't her first mistake. It was just the most expensive one. My phone buzzed. Dad again. Need an answer by tonight. Rosemary's arraignment is Monday. I stared at the message, then opened my laptop. For the past 5 years, I'd been keeping detailed records of every loan, every bailout, every emergency that had required my financial intervention. It started as a way to track what Rosemary owed me. Now it looked like evidence. What's that? Jake peered over my shoulder. Every time I've helped Rosemary, every dollar, every excuse, every promise to pay me back. Jake scrolled through the spreadsheet, his expression growing darker. Aveline, this is over $200,000. I know. Over 5 years. I pulled up another document. This is what she's earned from her social media partnerships in the same time period. Want to guess how much? Jake was quiet, reading. $400,000, I answered for him. She's made more money than both of us combined, but somehow I'm still paying for her mistakes. My phone rang. Rosemary. Sobbing. Eveline, Dad's really mad. He says if you don't help, I'll have to use a public defender. Do you know what that'll do to my reputation? Rosemary, you drove drunk and crashed into a farmer's market. Your reputation is already gone. How can you say that? You're supposed to support me. I've been supporting you for 15 years. This is different. This is serious. It's all been serious, Rosemary. The credit card debt I paid off. The rent money when you got evicted. The medical bills from your cosmetic surgeries. All of it was serious to me. I said I'd pay you back. I pulled up her social media profiles, screenshots of her luxury purchases. You bought a $3,000 handbag last week. How exactly were you planning to pay me back? The line went quiet. Rosemary? That was for work, for content. Content about wellness and financial responsibility? You don't understand my business. I understand that you've earned nearly $500,000 and somehow I'm still your ATM. She hung up. Jake wrapped his arms around me from behind. You know what you have to do. Do I? Aveline, look at yourself, really look. When's the last time you did something just for you? I thought about it. Our postponed honeymoon, the promotion I'd turned down because it required travel and Rosemary might need me. The house we couldn't buy because my savings kept going to family emergencies. She'll hate me. She already takes you for granted. What's the difference? My phone lit up with a family group text. Dad. Eveline, we're all counting on you. Don't let Rosemary down. I screenshot the message, added it to my documentation file. Then I started typing. The law firm's conference room felt like a courtroom. I'd called the family meeting, insisting on neutral ground. Dad sat across from me, his lawyer face on. Mom fidgeted with her purse. Rosemary looked smaller somehow, without her ring lights and filters. Thank you all for coming, I began, pulling out a thick folder. Aveline, sweetheart, Mom started. We just need to know if you can help Rosemary. I can help, I said. But first, I want to discuss the terms. Dad relaxed slightly. Of course, we can work out a payment plan. Not for Rosemary's legal fees. I opened the folder, spread out documents across the conference table. For the money she already owes me. The silence was deafening. Rosemary leaned forward, squinting at the papers. What is this? Every loan, every bailout, every emergency you've had in the past 15 years. I pulled out a calculator. Principal amount, $187,000, with reasonable interest, $294,000. You kept track? Rosemary's voice was barely a whisper. Someone had to. Dad's lawyer mask slipped. Aveline, this is family money. You don't charge family interest. Family doesn't steal from family either. I pulled out another document. Rosemary, do you remember opening a credit card in my name for emergencies? Her face went white. Or using my information to lease that BMW you crashed last year? That was different, she stammered. You said you'd help. I said I'd co-sign. I didn't say you could forge my signature. Mom gasped. Rosemary, you didn't. It's not a big deal. Rosemary's voice cracked. Aveline makes good money. Made good money, I corrected. Past tense. I turned down a partnership track position because it required me to be available for travel. Couldn't risk missing one of your emergencies. I pulled out more documents. Screenshots of Rosemary's social media posts showing her luxury lifestyle, bank statements showing her actual income, records of every lie she'd told about being broke. This one's my favorite, I said, showing them a photo of Rosemary at a resort in Cabo. Posted the same week she called me crying about not having rent money. Dad was reading through the papers, his expression growing darker. Rosemary, is this accurate? It's not what it looks like, Rosemary said quickly. It looks like fraud, I said calmly. Which, coincidentally, is what you're already being charged with. Aveline, Mom looked horrified. How can you talk to your sister like that? How has she been talking to me for 15 years? I stood up, pacing to the window. Do you know what I gave up for Rosemary? A partnership? A house? A wedding? I'm 33 years old, and I'm living paycheck to paycheck because every spare dollar goes to cleaning up her messes. We didn't ask you to do that, Dad said quietly. I turned around. You didn't ask? Really? I pulled out my phone, scrolled through messages. Here's you, Dad. Eveline, Rosemary needs help, and you're the only one who can afford it. And here, family doesn't abandon family. And my personal favorite, what's the point of your law degree if you can't help your own sister? Dad's face flushed red. And Mom, I continued, your greatest hits include Rosemary's always been sensitive, and you know she doesn't mean it, and she looks up to you so much. We were just, Mom started, manipulating me for 15 years. Rosemary finally found her voice. So what do you want? Me to go to prison? I want you to take responsibility. For once in your life. I am taking responsibility. That's why I called you. No, you called me to fix it for you. Like always. I sat back down, pulled out one final document. This is a promissory note. Rosemary agrees to pay back the $187,000 she owes me, plus interest, at $2,000 per month for 15 years. I can't afford that. Then maybe you shouldn't have spent it. Dad leaned forward. Aveline, be reasonable. Rosemary's career is ruined. She can't make that kind of money anymore. Then she'll get a regular job, like everyone else. You're being cruel, Mom whispered. I'm being fair, for the first time in my life. Rosemary was crying now, real tears instead of her usual performance. I never meant for it to get this bad. But it did get this bad, and now we're here. I gathered up my documents, put them back in the folder. Here's what's going to happen. Rosemary signs the promissory note, and I'll help with her legal fees. She doesn't sign, she handles this herself. And if I can't pay, then I'll garnish your wages, or sue for fraud. Your choice. The room was silent except for Rosemary's sniffling. Dad finally spoke. You'd really do this to your own sister? I've been doing it for 15 years. I'm just changing the terms. Rosemary reached for the pen with shaking hands. Where do I sign? 3 months later, Rosemary was sentenced to community service and probation. She'd gotten a job at a local fitness center, started living within her means for the first time in her adult life. She was actually happier, more grounded. I never realized how exhausting it was, she told me over coffee. Always living beyond my means, always needing rescue. The promissory note? I asked. No, the lifestyle. Always pretending everything was perfect when it was falling apart. She'd been making her payments religiously, $2,000 a month, plus an extra $500 when she could afford it. I want to pay you back faster, she said. I calculated how much interest I'll pay over 15 years. It's substantial. Debt usually is. I'm sorry, Aveline. Really sorry. I studied her face, looking for the manipulation I'd grown so accustomed to, but there was none. Just genuine remorse and something that looked like maturity. I know you are. Are you ever going to forgive me? I'm working on it. My phone buzzed. Jake, sending photos of the house we'd finally bought with our combined savings and Rosemary's initial payments. Nothing fancy, but it was ours. Your wedding was beautiful, Rosemary said suddenly. You weren't invited. I know, I watched Mom's Facebook live stream. She smiled sadly. You looked happy. I was happy. Are you happy now? I thought about it. The house, the job promotion I'd finally accepted. The relationship with Jake that wasn't constantly interrupted by family crises. Yeah, I said. I am. Rosemary nodded. Good. You deserve to be happy. So do you, Rosemary. But not at everyone else's expense. I'm learning that. We sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching people walk by on the street. Normal people, with normal problems. Aveline? Yeah. Thank you. For what? For not giving up on me, even when you should have. I looked at my sister. Really looked at her. 28 years old, working a regular job, paying her own bills, taking responsibility for her mistakes. It had taken a criminal charge and a mountain of debt, but she was finally growing up. You're welcome. And Aveline? Yeah? I'm proud of you, for standing up to all of us, for choosing yourself. Coming from Rosemary, those words meant everything. My phone lit up with a notification, another $500 payment from Rosemary, with a note. Extra payment. Thanks for believing I could change. I smiled, pocketing my phone. Sometimes the best gift you can give someone is the chance to prove they're better than their worst mistakes. Even if they have to pay interest on the lesson.